Did Dante Moore kind of give a backhanded slap at Chip Kelly as he entered the transfer portal? Bronny James is cleared to practice with USC basketball. And no, Bill Belichick will not be coaching the Chargers if they fire Brandon Staley. We'll discuss. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So it is December 1st, 2023. I am still stuck in St. Louis misery for another week. That's all right, because we always have LA sports to fall back on. Do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment, because it is for the greater good. Before we go through the news and notes, we will take a look at the scoreboard. Awkward night for the Angelenos, particularly for the NBA teams, because they were both playing on back-to-back nights. That second game is a mug. And by the way, here's an example. Anthony Davis scored 31 points, but Oklahoma City smoked the Lakers 133 to 110. LeBron James pretty much on point about this team. Quote, "I have no idea what we are. We don't have a group yet." Unquote. Fair assessment. Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard scored 23 points, but Golden State wound up winning 120 to 114. Do you want to know how awkward last night was for LA? UCLA defeated UC Riverside 66 to 65. In other words, Dylan Andrews scored 17 points and hit the game-winning shot with 3.2 seconds left. Translation: Riverside led with 3.3 seconds to go. The IE almost punked Westwood. If there's ever a time for the world to spin off its axis, if you ever thought it was going to be war in the Middle East, if you ever thought it was going to be the, Bitcoin taking over for the US dollar, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, you know what signals the upcoming rapture? The IE punking Westwood. We were this close to being left behind. The IE almost beat LA. Anyway, by the way, there are no games involving LA teams today. So what do you say we just look ahead and get to the news? Yesterday afternoon, I put up a breaking news item. Dante Moore, the freshman quarterback, one of the top 5 prospects in all of the nation last year, originally was going to go to Oregon, pulled his commitment, decided to go to UCLA. Last year, we were sitting there talking about how we could have these amazing quarterback matchups for the next 4 years, both with UCLA having Dante Moore, and whether it's Caleb Williams, whether it's Malachi Nelson, whoever comes out for USC. And Dante Moore split after 1 year. Now, he was talking with the LA Times about it, and he claimed originally that his mom battling cancer reminded him of the importance of home. Quote, "There's just a lot of things I've been going through, just far from home, and doing this type of thing can be really tough at times." Unquote. And man, I wanted to believe him, but you kind of had a feeling there was going to be another shoe to drop. Maybe it wasn't just missing good old moms, right? I mean, it didn't help, for example, that UCLA's offensive line was ranked 122nd in the nation in terms of sacks allowed, would it? Right? The Times also asserted that the play calling of the UCLA offense never played to Moore's strengths. There was never any bootlegs to give him a couple of more seconds against an opposing pass rush. There were never short drops or short passing routes so that Dante Moore could get pick off easy completions and build some confidence. So what happens later? Well, Moore tells 27 Sports that he wants to play for a school that can develop him, which was supposed to be the reason you went to UCLA. Remember? Chip Kelly, supposedly a quarterback guru, got a bunch of people in Oregon into the NFL, coached in the NFL. So what do we infer from that comment? What do we deduce? That Chip Kelly isn't exactly the quarterback whisperer? That Dante Moore saw the writing on the wall and said, to hell with this program is going nowhere? Now, I want to be clear about this. I'm not trying to trash UCLA completely here. The quarterback room is not barren. They have Ethan Garbers coming back, both Garbers and Colin Schlee, both juniors. So they'll be coming back for their senior year. But everybody was expecting UCLA's quarterbacking to be set for 4 years with Dante Moore, right? And because he was a 5-star recruit, the idea was like, oh, this is just going to open up more avenues for UCLA to get better recruits. Didn't happen, guys. Do you blame Chip Kelly for this? Did Dante Moore blame Chip Kelly for this? You let me know in the comments thread. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think. Happier news over at USC. Bronny James has been cleared to play for the Trojans basketball team. This is just 4 months after suffering cardiac arrest during a workout. If you all recall the way the story was going, he underwent a procedure to treat a congenital heart defect. The dude was at Cedars-Sinai in LA. The dude went to Mayo Clinic to try to get everything worked out. Now, the plan is for LeBron's son to start practicing next week. So later this week, USC is going to be playing Gonzaga. Yeah, Bronny James isn't participating in that game. LeBron James, by the way, also said if his son's debut is on the same night as a Laker game, LeBron is going to miss the Laker game so that he can go watch his son play. Now, I can't really say that I can blame him for that. Can you? I don't know. I think it's nice. But I also think the Lakers are hovering around 500, so I'm kind of iffy on it. If you got a stronger take, you let me know. So, you guys know that I do this show on the road as a way to keep myself sane in these drab hotels and whatnot. My last assignment was in Salt Lake City. And there was this dude I worked with out in Salt Lake City. He's a huge Chargers fan. And he was super hyped up because he believes that the Bolts are going to fire Brandon Staley and then immediately replace him with Bill Belichick, who may be on the outs after all those years of success in New England. It's not going to happen. No, it's not. Because since when do the Chargers ever pay for coaches? Right? I mean, this is the reason they haven't fired Brandon Staley. They didn't want to cut him a severance check. Why do it? And by the way, it wasn't just necessarily whether they were going to go out and get Bill Belichick. If you remember this time last year, Sean Payton was openly lobbying to become the coach of the Chargers. Absolutely lobbying for it. Chargers weren't going to pay him. There's a scribe down in the San Diego area who combined the annual salary for the last 3 Chargers coaches, Staley and the prior 2. If you put all of their salaries together, it's $11.5 million. Lincoln Riley gets $10 million a year from USC alone. The Chargers are not going to cut a fat check for Bill Belichick. It's not happening. Also with the Chargers, Keenan Allen hasn't been practicing. He's missed 2 this week. He has a quad injury. We mentioned LeBron James' son earlier. We mentioned LeBron not particularly happy about the Lakers losing in Oklahoma City earlier. Here's another little story. Business manager for LeBron James, a dude named Maverick Carter, he admitted to the feds that he was placing bets with a bookie. This is according to the Washington Post. Look, this was, Carter was basically a witness in a case against a former minor league pitcher. Now, spokespeople for LeBron was saying that Carter was never charged never targeted by the feds. Because here's the thing, the NBA will ban players from placing wagers, coaches, and team officials, but not business managers. So technically, Maverick wasn't all that Maverick. Oh, it looks sleazy, it looks trashy, but he didn't do anything against the law. At the time the Rams traded to boost their offensive line by getting Kevin Dotson from the Pittsburgh Steelers, it just looked as if the Rams just wanted a depth player. You know, the Rams, they sent a 4th and 5th round pick to the Steelers, but they also got back a couple of picks. So it seemed like a super low-key minor deal. But according to Pro Football Focus, or PIF, Dotson is among the best offensive linemen in the game right now. Kevin Dotson, as a matter of fact, but the way that they grade things, is the number 1 offensive lineman in the NFL right now. Now, I'm not trying to say that he absolutely is. I'm just saying that the way those numbers crunch out, Kevin Dotson, of all people, is allegedly the best offensive lineman in the game. Now, you might be thinking that is awesome for the Rams, but here's the bad news. He's going to be a free agent. So, will the Rams pay handsomely to keep a right guard? Not a tackle. Not the guy protecting Stafford's blind side. Not the center. Not the guy who calls the blocking schemes to keep Matthew Stafford from having his spine severed. A guard. And keep in mind, the Rams have been burned by investing in offensive linemen in the past with a fat check. Joe Noteboom comes to mind. I mentioned how UCLA basketball played last night. There's another note for UCLA hoops. There will be a postage stamp commemorating the life of legendary Bruins coach John Wooden, which is kind of ironic because I don't think I've mailed anything since he died. Like the pyramid of obsolete. I don't know. I'm just saying, haven't really needed a lot from the U.S. Postal Service in a long time. Finally, Angel City has exercised the option on forward June Endo's contract. So they're trying to build their team or keep it intact for next year. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about Dante Moore. Did he make the right call? Are you pissed at Chip Kelly for not developing him that quickly? Talk to me about, I don't know, Bill Belichick with the Chargers, which isn't going to happen. Or Bronny James with the Trojans, which is. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.